Reality television. People tuning in weekly to see the Real Housewives of Orange County. People watching Pawn Stars. People watching Big Brother. We're all fascinated with reality television. That's just part of what makes America or the world, and what makes media. But what happens when you are just an ordinary person who is completely unaware that he is the star of a show called The Truman Show? Very specifically, Jim Carrey starring in this. Yes. From 1998, directed by Peter Weir. It stars Jim Carrey. Frontman Jim Carrey stars with Oscar nominees Laura Linney and Ed Harris in The Truman Show. The dark comedy about a world-famous reality star who thinks he's just an insurance agent, when this supposedly ordinary man discovers he spent his entire life on camera surrounded by paid actors rather than family and friends. He sets out to find a new and truthful existence, and along the way finds uproarious adventure. Named as one of Entertainment Weekly's 100 greatest characters, Carrey's Truman Burbank is intriguing, emotional, and laugh-out-loud funny. Nominated for 3 Academy Awards, this story about a man who's on the air and unaware captivated audiences and critics alike. So, what are my thoughts about this? Well, there is some humor. Well, let's start off with what they say. There's a little humor. There's some involved of Jim acting a little over the top, like doing his usual over-the-top shtick of, I am Bruce Almighty, but a more subdued kind of suburban way, if that makes sense. When he's circling around with his wife, that is Laura Linney, you could tell that it's like, this is a guy who's a little, not necessarily disturbed, but he's just wondering about some things in life, and some people just kind of snap or have a little bit of a craze, have a moment where they start realizing things and start questioning things. Yes. And of course, there's like some moments where some things go on in the background, and you can't help but laugh because like that makes a lot of sense. Of course, Jim Carrey is of course the star, and you know, it's like we love him for Ace Ventura, Bruce Almighty. What was he on? In Living Color, with more over the top exaggerations, almost like Nicolas Cage. I wonder if those two ever would like to collab, if who could be more over the top. That would be interesting. Instead, we get a more subdued, kind of American dreamish Jim Carrey. I was very surprised by that. When he notices that just to give you the wide range of emotion, there's the over-the-top, there's the subdued, there's where he questions things, where his AM radio starts glitching, goes inside an insurance building to try and complete a sale, and there's no elevator backing. Is like, what is going on here? There are some, and we get to see with just the right camera angle, whether if you want it close, whether you want it, whether you want close like this, back, nice wide angle shot, a fisheye lens, is to give you an idea. Something is like, we know exactly what's going on. It's not exactly a big mystery or anything like that. No, this is just truly a great psychological dramedy. And you know, it's honestly just to give you an idea of just how like a lot more performance-based this was. No one was allowed to say any of the lines from any of Carrey's previous roles. So it's like, yeah, there's some humor in it, but it's more of like the dramedy humor, if you will. I think like, I guess, Smash a little bit, if you want kind of an example. Now, I like to do examples, but that's the closest I can think of. And then of course you have Ed Harris, who plays as Christoph, who's the director of everything. And I guess after when he was being in, he called this movie Son of a Bitch, son of a female dog, son of a bitch, if you will. You know, it's like we actually get more subtle, inspired performance of saying like, the world needs a hero, so we're keeping an eye on what Truman is doing. and he is willing to go over the top to try and prevent Truman from discovering the truth, even though we all know exactly what is going on. Excuse me. Yeah. There is use of classical music. And this is meant to be like the idealized American dream, but it's like, what is the American dream? White picket fences, according to people who you ask. But then again, that's not good enough for some people. But then there's also the media. Are we controlled by the media? Do we accept what is reality from the media? Do we influence it? Is what is going on in, say, like Big Brother, for example, is that real or is that just complete fakery? Of course, we all know what it is. There's nothing wrong with it as part of your, like, if you were to, there's nothing wrong with it being like one of the things that you watch, but then you watch some things that challenge your mind and makes you ponder and wonder about life. That is what I interpreted from this movie. And you know, it's like some people are happy just being an insurance agent. Some people want to go out there and do different things. Like, for example, you know how he goes around various cul-de-sacs. He goes around, like, just when they think like, hey, I'm going to go extreme. It's like, oh, and then Christoph says, get this extreme forest fire ready. Drives his car through a piece that sets up a fire. It's like, I'm not phased. Then goes to a nuclear test bunker site that where he gets apprehended, and then just kind of gets taken back home, I guess is the word. And just like, yeah, just don't do that again. Follows his wife into the hospital, where of course it's all just actors. Then towards the end, when the tension starts escalating, that's when it gets into the real question of, like, are we happy living in a gilded cage? Or do we want to go out and venture more? There's more up to you to determine what you want. You can even watch reality TV. It's like, no one cares. So, you know, it's like, again, it deals with what is the American, and again, what is the American dream, things like that. Classical music. And also, by the way, this also gave rise to a term called, what was it? The Truman disease, where people think they're the star of their own reality TV show. And I think even in 2008, I think it was like high school, actually, almost climbed the Statue of Liberty, because that's where he thought that his girlfriend was going to be, or something like that. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. And when the writer, Andrew Nichol, heard this, it's like, you know you've got it made when you have a disease named after you. So it also influenced that Yutz, Andrew Tate II. So say that what you will. I don't care. I'm just like, you just watch things that challenge your mind. I guess I was surprised that another closer one would be Dark City, in the sense of, like, everything going on. It's sci-fi, or like how, you know, the memories that we have, you know, like if you've seen, they change the memories every night, and everything's going on inside just this one giant globe, I guess, because the setting for the movie takes place inside a giant, massive studio set, like 5,000 extras or whatever. It's in Seascape, California, when it was actually filmed in Seaside, Florida. So yeah, there was actually some sheer coincidence. They both kind of have similar things. So yeah, I don't know. I actually do recommend you watch 1, Dark City, and 2, if you want to see a great Jim Carrey movie, you watch The Truman Show.